Hello everyone, welcome back to a new Football Manager 2017 experiment, and this one is one I'm actually quite looking forward to because it's something that I think anybody with the editor in Football Manager has done at one point or another. And what we've done is create a brand new footballer. He's 16 years old. He's named Giancarlo II because he is clearly my son. And he's playing for Newcastle. But what is so special about Giancarlo II is that he has the highest possible stats in every area. Now, it's not easy to see because there's no scout summary, and I am not the manager of Newcastle, so I don't know, or I can't see what all of these stats are, but as you can see, those that are available all have a maximum of 20, and that's because I changed them all to a maximum of 20. So he is, without doubt, the best any player can possibly get in this game. Now, he is 16 years old, so he's got an entire career ahead of him. He's starting out at Newcastle, but I would be surprised if he stays at Newcastle for very long, given how good his stats are. But we've also not just changed his technical, mental and physical stats. He is only a striker at the moment, but we've also changed his attributes as well. So he has the highest possible current and potential ability. He also has 20 for all of the good stats, not 20 for the dodgy ones like controversy, dirtiness or injury proneness. And it's all geared around making him the best possible player. As I said, he is just a striker. I haven't put his left foot to 20, which is maybe something I should have done. But I'm not too worried about that. He is a right-footed player, as am I. So he will remain as that for now. He's also trained in England and will be playing for the England national team, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets called up to the squad and how England get on with him up front. But that's pretty much it for the overview. I'm not going to be involved in this game. I'm just going to advance forward. And to begin with, we'll advance forward 4 years and see where he is, how he's getting on, how his stats have developed. And then depending on if the experiment is interested or not, we can always go 4 years again and then 4 years again, and then we'll be pretty much towards the end of his career because he will be sort of 28 by then, but we could go another 4 years to 32. So obviously if you enjoy this experiment, do let me know in the comments if you want to see how he does 4 years further ahead into the future. But for now, let's skip ahead and see how he does. Well, we are now 4 years in the future, and there's already one thing jumping out at me, and that is that he plays for Tottenham Hotspur now. He has clearly left Newcastle, his boyhood club, to go to a bigger team. But the other interesting thing is that his stats have completely fallen off. Now, again, this might not be entirely true. If I go to the edit stats, it might be slightly different. But no, all of his stats have dropped down, which is quite interesting. I assume that's because he either wasn't playing enough football or wasn't being developed properly. But yeah, all of his key stats have dropped, including dribbling, finishing and first touch, which is quite surprising. I wasn't really expecting that to happen, but I think that is probably related to his 200 maximum ability. I think the game caps what a 200 player is, and it isn't utterly perfect. It's just that some of his statistics are allowed to max out. So he's probably right now about as good as any player is allowed to be on this game through natural development. So if you're looking for a regen who has stats like this, you know you've got the best possible player. But it'll be interesting to see if these do develop, because he is only 20 years old at the moment, so obviously these stats could still rise as he reaches his peak around 25, which will be something to keep an eye on. Now the main thing is that he has clearly played for England, 34 goals in 39 caps, so it'll be interesting to see how he's done on the international stage in terms of major tournaments. He doesn't have any youth caps at all, so he went straight into the England first team. But I suppose the first thing to do is to have a look at his career stats. And as you can see, he left Newcastle, I think, in the January transfer window of the first season. It didn't take long for him to get poached, but £27 million is not a bad amount for a 16-year-old player. It's what they tend to go to. If you think of the likes of Wayne Rooney, that was about how much he left Everton for to go to United, because you're still taking a risk. If you don't, even if you think the player is brilliant, he might peter out. He might be in a Nelka who has a good few years and then drops off. Or a Kanu even, who's another player who was brilliant and then dropped off. But it looks like his stats have been pretty solid over the last 4 years. When he was at Newcastle 14 goals and 14 assists in 25 games in the league. 17 goals and 16 assists across 29 games in all competition is not bad at all. 8.63 average rating is about the highest I've seen in this game. He clearly got an 8.7 this season. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get higher than that over a season. But then he moved to Tottenham in January. He got 17 goals and 8 assists in 26 games, which is pretty good going. 7 Player of the Match awards. The season after that, he got 33 in 56, and you can see that Spurs are playing a lot more games in this season, it would appear, because he will be getting those goals that keep them moving forward. 23 Player of the Match awards in 37 league games is just utterly incredible. And then again, 41 goals in 64 games the season after, and this season 38 in 57. So those are some very, very good returns. Across his entire career, 95 goals in 155 games. He's not quite a goal a game player, but it's very rare that any player not managed by a human manager reaches a goal to game parity. Even Ronaldo and Messi don't get anywhere near that. Even their stats don't quite match this. But he's done very, very well. That's getting nearly a goal and an assist every game at least. But if we maybe have a look at his achievements and start right from the bottom and work our way up, there's going to be a lot of Player of the Months that we can skip past. But he was named Newcastle vice-captain immediately. That was the first landmark he was ever given in 2016, and that was actually done before making his senior debut and first senior goal, so he must have been assigned those right at the start. He also broke the Newcastle record for youngest player to score in a match. And then if we go up, he gets his international debut pretty much straight away. He was in the team of the week, and I imagine that's only the next week after, so he was given an international debut immediately and broke the England record for the youngest player to appear in a match, which is quite an achievement to get as well. Then he's in Team of the Week quite a lot, gets Team of the Month for September, and he scores his first international goal against Slovenia shortly after that and becomes the youngest player to score for England. At the same time, he's named in the England seasonal best 11 for 2017, and then after winning Player of the Month for December, he moves to Spurs for £27 million, rising to £31 million. And you have to imagine, no matter what those clauses were, he is going to meet them. And then immediately after joining them, he's named Player of the Month for January, the month that he moves to the club. It looks like he's pretty consistently winning all of these awards. And Tottenham, in the first season he was with them, won the UEFA Europa League. So he gets his first piece of silverware in his first season as a footballer, and he's named the 2016-17 Supporters Player of the Year, Tottenham's seasonal best 11, and they win the UEFA Super Cup the following season. Keeps winning Player of the Week awards, Player of the Month awards, Young Player of the Month for October. Not many other awards coming his way, but then he's named in the 2017 World Team of the Year, and he wins the European Golden Boy Award. That's not a big surprise, given how well he would have done through the year of 2017. Again, winning more Team of the Week, Team of the Month awards, and then in 2018 he wins Footballer of the Year in the Premier League. He's named in the 2018 English Players Premier League Select, and then he wins a Champions League with Spurs in 2018. So far he's won 2 trophies, the Europa League and the Champions League, and that is not bad going at all. Wins the 17-18 Supporters Player of the Year, wins Best Player of the Europe, and then he's named England captain and Tottenham captain at the same time, right before winning the UEFA Super Cup. So he's 18 years old at this point, and he's England captain, Tottenham captain. He's already won the Champions League, and he's won the Europa League. That is not bad going. He follows it up with his second UEFA Super Cup, continues to get all the awards in the league, and then wins the FIFA Club World Cup, named Best Player alongside it. Wins the Ballon d'Or in 2018 at the age of 20 years old. That is not bad at all. Keeps going, winning the awards. Runners up in the EFL Cup. That must have been a bit disappointing. Footballer of the Year in the Premier League again. Runners up in the FA Cup. Runners up in the Champions League. So he makes 2 Champions League finals there, and it's the Golden Boot runner up as well in the Champions League. Supporters Player of the Year again. Broke the England record for the fastest goal scoring after 10 seconds against Azerbaijan, and that's the same for the UEFA European Championship qualifying. Continues to get the monthly awards and the weekly awards, and then wins the Ballon d'Or for a second time. So that's 2 years in a row that he's named the best player in the world, which is not entirely surprising. Looks like there was a bit of a drought in terms of competitions, but he does break the Tottenham record for the most league goals scored in a season with 22 goals. If we keep going up, they win the EFL Cup. That's his third serious competition that he's won if you ignore the Super Cup, but 5 in total. Breaks the Tottenham record for assists with 14. Keeps being named in the teams of the week. Breaks the assist record again. And he breaks the Tottenham record for the highest average rating in a season. Footballer of the Year, top goal scorer, runner-up in the Premier League. Named in the Team of the Year. Wins the Europa League for the second time. So that's a Champions League and 2 Europa Leagues, but he's yet to win the Premier League title. Named the best player in Europe, wins the Golden Shoe, and that's the sort of summary of his overall awards. You can see his competition victories here. Not bad going. A couple of runners-up medals will disappoint him, but made 2 Champions League finals, won 2 Europa Leagues, 2 European Super Cups, a FIFA World Club Cup as well, and runners-up in the FA Cup and EFL Cup with 1 EFL Cup to his name. That's not a bad trophy haul for a player who's 20 years old. So that's actually quite an interesting little history to run through there. You can see from his biography that he's doing quite well. 34 goals, 39 games, plenty of trophies, 7 awards in his time, and he's won lots of personal awards as well. So that's yeah, definitely quite interesting. He's only ever had 1 injury, and it was food poisoning. So no muscle injuries, no muscle strains. Just really good just overall stats and ability in the group. If we have a look maybe at the Premier League table and see where Spurs have been finishing. So they actually finished second this season. So he got a runners-up medal in the Premier League, only just missing out. Man City and getting a brilliant 95 points. The season before that they finished 5th, which is why they won the Europa League, I assume. 3rd the season before that, and 3rd in his first season for the club. So they're not really challenging for the title. Finishing 2nd this season is the closest they got, but Arsenal were also on 85 points, so there's virtually nothing in that. 1 goal difference separating the 2 rivals. So he's definitely got some work to do in the senior squad to get his first Premier League title, but that's about more than just Spurs. That's about their squad too. So we can't pin that blame on him because he is the club captain. And it looks like they haven't massively strengthened their team. There's no massive players in here jumping out at me, so they're still using the same team they've had for a few years. So if you just take a look at the England team record, now that we've had a quick look at Spurs, you can see that he does get his first goal against Slovenia in a home friendly, and then he gets that scoring rate going, scoring in just about every game in 2016. In 2017 they continue, he's carrying on getting the goals for the team. And then in the World Cup qualifiers group, he does reasonably well, still getting the goals, scoring in every match still. He is really carrying the England team. He doesn't score in the Scotland game though, when they lose, but then does get back on the score sheet against Malta, against Denmark, and again against Denmark. Then in 2018, it's the World Cup as they kick off against Australia with a 2-0 defeat. They beat Honduras 7-0. He gets a hat-trick in that game. And then against Senegal, he gets his 4th goal of the World Cup before being beaten by Brazil. Rafinha getting the only goal. And he had a pretty disappointing game at 6.7. But then they go back to the European League Division A, where he does get back on the score sheet, defeated by Spain, but carries on his scoring record. In 2019, they do make the International League semi-final, but are beaten by Germany, which is not a massive surprise. Carries on getting loads of goals for the national team. And then in 2020, we have the Euros Group A, which has not yet happened, so we'll have to wait until next episode to see how they got on in the European Championships. But against Georgia, Sweden and Greece, you would expect them to get through quite comfortably. They've also got Germany in their European League Division group, which will be something to look forward to as well. But overall, I would say he's having a pretty good time. Apparently Rafa Benitez is now the manager of England. But £70 million valuation at 20 years old, you can only assume that's going to go up and up. I hope his stats improve as well. But that's it for this video. It was just a quick look to see how the best possible player in the game would develop as a 16-year-old going forward. If you're interested to see how he gets on in the next 4 years and you'd like to see another video, do drop a like on the video, maybe drop a comment saying that you want to see a bit more of how he develops and how England's fortunes might develop going forward. And obviously subscribe to the channel if you want to see more experiments like this or more Football Manager content. But until next time, see ya!